let's get into the Rebs Gaming post. Now, Rebs Gaming, folks, if you don't know, he is an incredible part of the Twitter community. He's a journalist, folks, and he knows his business, especially when it comes to Halo. So he had posted a couple of weeks ago where he said that he has heard from his very reliable source that there would be new unreleased Halo information being dropped at the Halo Championships later this year that happen in October. They're going to be happening in Seattle, Washington. Well, folks, not only was he right, I'm going to read verbatim from his post, and I'm going to read the presser from Halo Studios confirming just this. So Rebs Gaming goes on to say, confirmed with a green check mark, Halo Studios just announced that they will reveal what they've been working on at the Halo World Championships. He goes on to say, of course, a little dig. Whoever doubted me can now apologize with a winking emoji. So let me read the presser, ladies and gentlemen. And this is directly from, of course, Halo Studios. And it goes on to say this. Over the past few weeks, there's been a fair amount of speculation about when and where more details might emerge about any of the multiple projects Halo Studios is actively working on. We don't usually comment on such matters, but this time we want to enter the chat and share a little bit more of the perspective for Halo fans who might be on the fence about whether to attend this year's event. Last year at the Halo World Championship, we premiered A New Dawn, where we talked about the switch to Unreal Engine 5, gave you a behind-the-scenes look at Project Foundry, and debuted our evolution to Halo Studios as we enter a new chapter for Halo. For us, A New Dawn was just the beginning. At this year's Halo World Championship, we look forward to continuing this conversation. Speculation is always fun, but if you want the official scoop on what Halo Studios has been working on, you won't want to miss this year's Halo World Championship. We really hope you'll join us in Seattle, Washington, later this year in October. There's the presser. Jamie Moran confirmed that we are getting additional Halo news that it's never been talked about. Just like last year, they dropped the fact that they were changing the names to from 343 Industries to Halo Studios. They dropped. This was the biggest news for Infinite Umbra, who of course is here smiling from ear to ear. They were going from the Slipspace engine to Unreal Engine for the next Halo or the next several Halo projects. And we know they just confirmed it. They just confirmed it in the presser that they are working on multiple Halo projects. This is exciting. This is the way you end the year. And you know what's incredible? October is going to happen, and there's still the Game Awards where we think Xbox is going to be there in a big way. Let's talk Halo. Let's talk about Halo Studios and the fact that they're going to give us a peek behind the curtain, so to speak, of what they're working on, Jamie.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I mean, for people that don't know, I don't really do multiplayer anymore. So for me, like I love Halo, I adore Halo. So for me, I've been craving new Halo content since 2021. I loved Halo Infinite. The grappling hook for me, perfection. But I'm excited to see what Halo looks like and what it's going to play like. Even if it's not like an extended gameplay deep dive, I'm just excited for Halo to come back. It's been way too long. And I complain about this all the time about how like sequels for games I like take years and years, half a decade now to make. I've been craving a new Halo game since I finished Infinite. So I'm excited. Are we going to see something about the quote unquote remake or something different? I don't know, but to see Halo like in the limelight again, it's very good to see. And I think when they shifted to Unreal Engine 5, something I've heard from other developers is that, the content pipeline is way more efficient. And I'm wanting to see what they can do with Halo in an engine that a lot of developers know how to use. I've talked about this before, how like when BioWare shifted to Frostbite and the tools weren't necessarily there, like making content for, Mass Effect Andromeda wasn't exactly the best situation for them. Most developers there basically, knew how to use Unreal Engine, so Frostbite was all over the place for them. And getting content out regularly in a new engine can be a bit difficult, but a lot of developers know how to use Unreal Engine, and that's the best thing about this stuff. So I want to see what Microsoft can do with a new Halo game in an engine most people know how to use. It's an exciting time for Halo fans, especially if you're like me and you mainly stick to single player games. Like, it's been a long time coming, and I can't wait.
Well, I'll say this. Why this is exciting is for a couple of reasons. We have confirmation that we're going to see something that Halo fans have been asking for, right? They have read the room. They have heard the cries of the Halo fans, like myself, who very much enjoy and put a ridiculous amount of time into Halo Infinite. And I'm not sad or sorry that I did. But one of the things, one of my big takeaways, and if he was here, he'd agree with me, and that, of course, is Keasante. He, like myself, are big fans of the single-player, story-driven narrative of Halo and Master Chief. Now, there's some people that think they should move on from Chief. I would unbelievably disagree with that, and that's fine. We can all have our opinions, but it is time that we get back to single player story driven narratives with Master Chief. Now we do know, and again, this is the rumor, Umbra, that the original Halo that started it all, which of course is Halo Combat Evolved, is getting a facelift. It is getting a remade in Unreal Engine 5, and I think that is very exciting because this game is going to look and play like a modern game. Where the question that I still have, and I hope we get some answers when we, in October, is what do they do after that, right? Like, is Infinite and that story going to continue? Because it is going to continue in written format, because there's a book, or at least a couple of books coming out that literally take place directly after Infinite, and it is a singular story that involves both Chief and the new Cortana. And it's a self-contained story and adventure, which is great. But again, I would not want to be Halo Studios to figure out what happens next, because we don't know. And I mean, is Halo Combat Evolved and its story, then they reboot the narrative, or do they continue from there? Does that mean that 2 and ODST and 3 don't count? What about Reach? There's a lot of questions that I hope that we get answers for, but I'm very much looking forward to at least getting some information about what they're doing with what I believe is still one of the most important franchises for Xbox, because Xbox is Chief is Xbox, and the same thing for Halo. Let's get your thoughts on this new information and confirmation, more so, that we are going to learn of what they're doing with Halo and potentially some of the other projects, Umbra.
Well, Boom, you hit it right on the head. As you were saying all that, and you mentioned Unreal Engine 5 and Halo, I was smiling literally ear to ear. And if anybody had been paying attention to me, I said this well before they ever announced working with Unreal Engine for the next Halo and going forward. I said I would love for them to use Unreal, and people were like, "Oh, well, you got their own bespoke engine, split space." I'm like, "Sure." And they fumbled that. They could have done more with it. And listen, I say there's loving Infinite, and I still think Infinite is a looker if you look the right way, right? It's not the most advanced looking game, but I think it is beautiful in its own way, especially in a campaign when you go through like the Forerunner structures and stuff like that. I mean, it's a gorgeous game, I think. And I've posted pictures back then when I was really heavy on it to showcase that. That said, and I stand firmly by this, that there is no engine in gaming that quite visually performs quite like Unreal Engine. Yes, I'll be expecting my check epic. But that said, man, no, I'm extremely excited. Shout out to Mr. Rebs, by the way, who's been staunch.
Great Halo.
Man.
I mean, he's a journalist, but he's a Halo guy. So
he is a Halo guy. I've talked to him behind the scenes. Hit him up and told him, "Hey, come join this Discord, man. Get in here with us and talk with us. I'm trying to get him in there so I can get secrets." Don't listen to that, Mr. Rebs. I just want to talk to you. That's all. I just want to talk to you. But no, shout out to Rebs for getting it out there. And I mean, he's dropped a few dimes before in the past that clued us in on things. So all love to him doing what he does. I'm excited, man. I know we don't have enough to really go on. So all of this is going to be just speculation, right? And hell, they say that if you go to the Halo esports, it's like rumors and speculation, literally. Like that's part of what they're selling there. So we're going to get a first look here at what they're cooking. I don't know if that means it will be, well, I can guess it will be the Halo remake, seeing how they have Master Chief and the Sengeli right there that he's going up against. But I also wonder if they'll show that, but also a snippet of other things, because if you all remember, they're working on more than just Halo, a remake or whatever. They're working on other games, so we might see something with the RTS, maybe. And I'll just random throw it out there, but maybe we'll see what was the name? The supposed battle royale that what's they called their names?
My god, yeah,
I can't remember.
Tanaka or something.
Yeah, Tanaka. But what was the name of that? The dude just dived to get shot right in the head.
He did. He dived right in front of me.
That was funny.
Shot him right in the face.
I almost said Creative Assembly, but it's not Creative Assembly. What's their name? It is CA too.
Oh my God! All the ex Bungie guys.
Certain Affinity. There it is.
Certain Affinity, indeed. Yes.
Riviera. Rivera. That I said Riviera. Rivera. My bad. Certain Affinity is who it is. So maybe that whole delay for that was for them to move things forward and change into a different engine. You know what I mean? Actually, if I'm not mistaken, that was rumored to be an Unreal. Allegedly, if you all remember the whole thing about that. Thanks, Luis. It was all about them moving toward it, and people were doubting that, oh, they can't do that. How will they move this to Unreal? How will they work? Well, now we know that's the case. We know that they're moving to Unreal. You all remember that whole talk about that? Well, how will they move Slip Space into this? Can Unreal even let them move the way they need to? Well, I guess we're getting an answer, and the answer is yes. And I don't know why people really doubted Unreal anyway. They have such diverse tools for everything because the game is used for everything. So it's so much put into that engine all across. And and I get shout out to Kay because I get where he's saying that he wants other engines to be, get that love so it can be developed to the point of that too. And he's not wrong, but still not going to shake my love for Unreal. But yeah, that said, I cannot wait to see what they show us. I don't expect them to show us a ton. If anything, I would expect that it's just going to give us enough just to whet the appetite, as they would say. And anything more that we'll see, obviously, if I would have guessed at the end of their little video snippet or whatever, tune in next year, blah, 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 right? Because next year is going to be the thing. We already know.